Hey YouTube, it's Crash1990, and today I'm going to be going over my two reasons for why I love the Gothic set for sorcery as much as I do. And to start it off, the first thing that I love about this set is the design space for the avatars for this set. And so here's all the avatars, and I'll go over the pre-con ones first, and then I'll talk about just very briefly what's going on with all of these. So the pre-con avatars, I think, were exceptionally well designed, right? One, the art on all of them is just great. I love how there's different art in the booster set versus the precons, and I think these avatars are great because, like the beta ones, they were pretty simple, pretty basic. You know, there's still a lot to sink your teeth into when it comes to deck building and overall play style and whatnot. But these avatars are, there's like another added layer of depth to them because their abilities aren't just super straightforward. Like, I mean, they are, but there's a lot of times on knowing when, like for Persecutor, for instance, which is my favorite of the precon avatars, knowing when and where to take your steps, where to place your evil minions to step closer to them to get that free added movement. This 2 attack is quite key as well. And then knowing when it's important to brand thing, that's a little more simple, I think. But this getting free movement and setting yourself up for that movement mattering, that's some pretty like in-depth play there. There's Harbinger. This is probably the more simpler of the ones to play that adds a little more variance to your games, which is also great because you're more than likely not going to be hitting the same 3 squares every single game. I want to check the d20 that you're rolling if that's what's happening, but this adds a lot of variance to where these sites are and how you play according to where they're placed. And it also chooses, you know, like what route do you want to go down? Do you want to play a bunch of Void Walk stuff because your things are going to be played into the void, or do you want to play a bunch of big monsters to play them cheaper? And then, you know, playing around, let's say you get like a bunch of bad placements, how do you make those for your cheaper costed stuff? How do you get those random squares, if they're placed bad, to then not be bad anymore? So there's a lot going on there. And then Necromancer, this is my favorite printing. I actually have I'm fancy and got a Gothic foil one. I was lucky enough to open that in the pack. But again, this is like one of the more played avatars in this set. I think I was predicting that, and I think I was right on that prediction. Necromancer's kind of gross. Great art, definitely gross art too, with these like salad finger, rusty spoon looking dudes down here. But yeah, being able to just play free minions every turn, again, that seems pretty simple, but you also want to build your deck to have a mana curve to make sure you can get this value off every turn. I don't think you really want to be missing this. You want to be doing that as much as possible, right? You want to be getting the value that your avatar brings to the game every single turn. Then there's a good old savior here, warding stuff, and then again, you want that to go off, so you kind of want to play a lot of minions, or do you? And then when do you want to ward stuff, and what's important to ward, and do you go super in depth on making wards matter? I love that, just that little bit of extra layer of depth. It gives players even more to sink their teeth into than beta, and it's not just another, you know, simple beta run of avatars. They're a little more complex, and I really dig that. And I'm curious to see where they go in future sets that have precons and what those avatars will look like, because what they did with these ones was just such a beautiful step in the right direction. That was what I was hoping with those precon avatars, and man, did they freaking deliver. The rest of the avatars here, there's some that have very vast open deck building decisions, and that is another thing that I really like. These tie up sorcery in all of its sets as a whole very well. Like Magician adds a lot of value to just the whole card pool. Duplicator, Imposter, definitely Imposter. Even Realm Eaters, there's a lot of site destruction stuff in other sets as well. Well, not a lot, but there's more. And then there's things that are more in theme with like this set, like Corruptor. Again, I know there's going to be just some busted Corruptor deck. I have not thought of it yet. I know someone's going to, but I know it's going to take a lot of work to get there. I personally won't be doing that, but I will be very curious to see what people come up with Corruptor and how cool of deck builds where making things evil and whatnot really, really matters. Blade Dancer is like a very aggressive avatar too. It's like another pseudo battle mage. This is also kind of like a pseudo battle mage-ish. I mean, hell, so is Persecutor. So you have all of these like different flavors of roughly the same sort of strategy. So there's a lot more options to play now, a lot more things for players to experiment with. Then there's Interrogator, another avatar that I thought was going to get played a lot, and I'm pretty sure it is because this avatar is kind of gross. Especially if you run like a very charge-heavy deck and just draw on your opponent's face with minions and they're having to make this decision constantly, and it's kind of crazy. And then there's Animist, which I think was honestly what Archimago should have been, because Archimago is quite degenerate and just not a fun avatar to play, in my opinion. If you enjoy Archimago, nothing against you. You know, you love what you love. I personally did not like him, but I think this is a very fair theme for a very magic heavy deck, and it also makes some spirit, so you can run all the spirit stuff matters with Animus to get all those values there too. And yeah, just all in all, like, you know, Site Destruction being a thing too, and Duplicator for the collectors in the game, and I mean even Imposter could technically be that very cool toolboxy avatar. This is just an absolute 10 out of 10. I could not have done any of these better. Really couldn't have. There's something here for every sorcery player. Even people who are playing this game like just set by set, like you build Gothic only decks or you build Arthurian Legends only decks, there's stuff here for you. If you want to build the whole collection, you know, of stuff, all 3 sets, there's stuff here for you. If you're a competitive player, whatever competitive means for this game, there is definitely stuff here for you. And yeah, it's there's something for everyone, and I love seeing that in this, and they just keep improving and improving off of the already epic great stuff that they're doing. And again, I'm looking forward to what new avatars they're going to be making in future sets. And the second thing that I like about Gothic, actually I should have done this first because this is my absolute #1 favorite part of Gothic, is the design space in the sites. And I'm going to go over the blooms first. So if you're unaware, there is a cycle of sites called whatever plus bloom, and there's one for each attribute, and when you play them, they'll provide the other 3 thresholds that they are not. So for a single turn, you'll have all 4 attributes for that turn, right? So these are really, really good in limited. These are great for people who have like a very mono-heavy deck, splashing something else, so it gives you that opportunity to play this, to splash whatever the heck it is that you're doing. Ideally, though, this is here for sealed and draft, so people don't get screwed over playing 3-color decks and they can't play anything because they're never drawing their sites. These are perfect. These are also here for the people who like building draft cubes, like myself. And in fact, I'll be meeting up with a buddy of mine at some point to build draft cubes together. We're each going to build one and talk over our own strategies. And you bet I will be including a playset of all 4 of these in my queue because they are just that good. Adding consistency to players, you know, mana and thresholds is super key and stuff like that. And these, God, these do exactly that. Again, this is something I wasn't expecting, but I am very, very happy to have seen designed. I was kind of hoping for something like this, maybe like the Vivid Lands for Magic, if people know what those are. These are kind of like that. And that was kind of what happened here. My favorite of them being the Desert Bloom. I freaking love the art on this card. This is probably one of my favorite sorcery arts. In fact, I would love to have the original of this. God, just the coloring, just everything. I love it. I'm not a fan of deserts, but damn it, I love this art so much. And then another cycle of sites that I was really happy to see, that I kind of was hoping, was some that produce double threshold. Now, these don't produce double mana. This still produces only 1 mana, but it's giving you 2 fire threshold. And this is really key because there's a lot of cards in this game that have 2+, you know, of these thresholds on them. And being the exceptional rarity, you can have 3 of them in your site deck. I never noticed there's little houses down here. That's really funny. Obviously noticed the face in the volcano, but I never noticed like the the house and like chapel looking building here. That's pretty neat. Brian Smith killing it as he always does. But anyway, I've been experimenting with these in Constructed, and especially Death Speaker, because I have a lot of stuff that's double fire, double air. If I can find the air one real quick, I probably scrolled right past it, or did I? I don't, there it is, double air. Love the art on this too. Brian Smith did the art on all 4 of them, I believe. Pretty sure he did. But anyway, I have a lot of stuff with double air threshold, and being a 3-color deck, it's kind of difficult to get your attributes. Normally, I wouldn't say it is, but a lot of people are running Site Destruction, so it kind of screws you up, which is why I swapped the deck to 2 colors, but I am now back to 3-color because Earth is just that good. A lot of juicy self-mill stuff in Earth, which is great for Death Speaker, by the way. But these sites help mitigate running all of those extra sites that aren't one or the other, fire or air or whatever. So it helps smooth out my attributes quite a bit, and I'm quite happy with that. And then there's another cycle of sites. This is one of them, and this is one of them. They don't provide any threshold, but they get a trigger off of a particular threshold being in play, or when you have one. And they'll provide double mana, so this does provide 2 mana, but then there's always some negative stipulation on them, and I think City of Souls is by far the best one of the 4. There's one that like lets your opponent cast stuff to this site, and then they gain stealth, which is just I would not recommend. I would not recommend that unless you have a lot of answers to stealth in your deck. But this one is the easily mitigatable with like warding stuff. You can redirect damage to this site to any other unit. So, any ways to protect this site, which it's a lot easier to do. I mean, you could just block for this site, right? But this is a really neat design space too, adding some more acceleration. This one is also not bad. It's destroyed when it's damaged. Just make sure you block for it, right? We get a little froggy site, a little froggy summoning site. I love how the Eric's Curiosa has recognized that we the players love frogs, and they keep giving us frog cards, and I am just super happy about it. So now we have even more sites that summon frogs. And then we have this one that is evil stuff, cost 1 less, so it's like, what is it, pond for the beasts. This one is the same thing, but with air instead of water, and it's for evil, which is great. The Desecrated Ground and Consecrated Ground are cool sites, and the cards that summon them out are pretty neat too. Let's see. There's a lot of sites that summon minions from your collection. Collection is another aspect to the set that I really like too. And I want to say the last final thing with sites is how crazy the unique ones are. Like, God, I love this one. Being able to summon not summon it, transforms into a demon. It's like Island Leviathan, but for cool demon lovers like myself. This one, you go to Death's Door, which is crazy that you just go to Death's Door until your next turn to summon a dead minion here, and that art is just excellent. I would love to see a foil one of these, by the way. God, there's another one that I was looking at. You got the Tower of Babel, which is pretty neat. There's another unique one that I am just not... I don't think I've ever seen that one. There's still sites here I haven't even seen, and I've opened 6 boxes. How funny is that? God, there's a unique site. Is it up at the top? I bet it's up at the top. Yes, this one. Altar of Malachi. And it's once per game, if you would die, sacrifice a minion atop this altar instead. How cool is that? I can't tell you how many times I've died in a game, but would have won on the next turn. Because a lot of my games end with both of us on death's door and then one of us falling. Typically me to a frickin' Ice Lance, because I die to that card all the time. But, you know, Ice Lance or Snowball. I'd rather die to a Snowball stuffed with 1,000 frogs. I think we had a new dual site here as well. Where is that one? Yes. Garden of Eden with some anti-draw accelerator type shenanigans here with exceptional art too. Love the texturing and the color here. Jeff Menges. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that last name wrong. I'm dyslexic. Don't judge me. But there's also a lot of like Silver Bullet type sites in here too. Like there's this one for limiting the searching. There's another one that limits like life gain. And I really do think that these sites and their designs are the nice little bow that ties up the entire set of Gothic into the excellent set that it is. And my god, this is why the game takes a year to release a set, because they literally think about everything. It's like how Silksong took 7 years to release, whatever it was, and that game was freaking phenomenal. And there's so many little tiny things that go on in that game. Like if you throw tax in the ant world, or the place of the ants, Hunter's March, with the little tiny ants that you can't attack, if you throw tax on them, they pick up the tax and walk away with them. It's crap like that that I absolutely love, and Eric's Curiosa did that tenfold with this set, and god, it really does just resonate with me. Just everything here, the sights, and just the overall theme of Gothic. I love playing Gothic just by itself. You know, I played a huge sealed Escalation League with like 2 boxes over the break, so I've played a lot of Gothic. It's so much fun. I don't think I'd ever get bored of this set. I really don't. I'm tempted to buy a bunch of boxes and just keep them sealed in the closet, just so I have boxes to do sealed leagues with in the future. Like, so good. Anyway, that is the end of the video before I just keep ranting and repeating myself like I normally do. Make sure to comment down below what your favorite parts about Gothic are. I would love to hear them. And yeah, I'm back from my break. Again, I took a break for the holidays and some personal stuff, and I'm back to making regular content every week. So again, there's this one that will be going up today, right after I'm done recording it. I'll have another one tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We'll see. It'll definitely be this week for sure, and that will be what attribute I thought won the most from Gothic. Yeah, so anyway, that's enough of that. God, dude, look at the art on this. That would make such a beautiful playmat. Anyway, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, until next time, I will catch you all later. See ya.